President Trump calling out a lot of foreign nations by way of Twitter over the last 24 hours, most recently threatening to cut off financial aid to the Palestinian Authority, tweeting this now. We pay the Palestinians hundreds of millions of dollars a year and get no appreciation or respect. They don't even want to negotiate a long overdue peace treaty with Israel. We have taken Jerusalem, the toughest part of the negotiation, off the table, but Israel for that would have had to pay more. But with the Palestinians no longer willing to talk peace, why should we make any of these massive future payments to them? And tweet. Senior Counselor, President Trump, Kellyanne Conway with me, and a Happy New Year to you. Thanks for coming back here from the North Lawn there. There's a lot to go over. Let me get back to the Palestinian issue in a moment, come back to North Korea. The Olympics start in 5.5 weeks. I consider that's no small matter in South Korea. And I'm just wondering, the tweet about the button, which is, I think, no small matter either. Does the president believe that the North Korean leader responds to that language?
Well, the president's position, our position on North Korea has never changed. He continues to apply maximum pressure. North Korea must denuclearize the peninsula region. And we're very happy that there seems to be a more unified international effort in this regard in that pursuit bill. You see the United Nations resolution of December 22nd very recently. You see the previous resolutions unanimously in support of the United States position with respect to North Korea. This is key because this president has made clear from the beginning and consistently throughout the first year of his presidency that a nuclearized North Korea is not just a danger and a threat to America and to any freedom and democracy loving people, but to the entire world. And the world is responding. Does the president believe we are close to war with North Korea? Yes. Well, the president has said many times nobody wants that. Of course not. Nobody wants that. But we've just seen so much over the past years of looking the other way. Look at what's happening in Iran. You finally have a president of the United States who's not looking the other way when peaceful people are protesting to get basic essential necessities met. And people are upset that so much of the money and aid that could be going to their basic needs within the country of Iran are instead being diverted to foment terrorism and fear. And so this is very much part of the Trump doctrine, that you stand with peaceful, loving people, that you stand up to those who are threatening global security, like is happening in North Korea. But we want to continue to apply maximum pressure on North Korea. It is a dangerous place, and we're very happy that the international community is responding, including through UN resolutions. Yeah, and I'll get to Nikki Haley in a moment here, but you mentioned Iran. You know the regime has all the power. But if there is another revolution in Iran, what takes the power of the regime? Do we know what is behind the next curtain in that country? That's not really the point at the moment. What's happening in the last couple of weeks, and I'll let the president and his national security folks speak to that more robustly. But Bill, what's happening is you see such a contrast to what the last president did in 2009 when you had similar peaceful protests by folks who just are standing up to this authoritarian regime. You now have a president who has spoken unequivocally on behalf of those people, said he stands with them. And this is incredibly important because the world needs to see that I disagree with the premise that the regimes have all the power and people don't have power. We believe very much in the power of the people. We've seen it again and again across this world, and people have every right to stand up and try to get a better life there. And so this president is speaking unequivocally and not looking the other way. Even it seems like former Secretary of State is disagreeing a bit in retrospect with the Obama-Hillary Clinton doctrine when it comes to peaceful protests in Iran. She has said that some version of they should have not looked the other way, or it's good that people are standing up and listening to them this time. I saw a similar tweet by Nancy Pelosi yesterday, of all things. There is a lot of reaction on that, too. That's right. It should be bipartisan. As we reflect back in 2009, too, let's see where it goes. On the Palestinian issue, they're saying that the threats from the White House amounts to blackmail. Should they take it that way? I don't think that's the definition of blackmail. I haven't been a practicing lawyer in many, many years, thankfully. But no, what they should take it is this is a president who uses social media and his words and a lot of transparency and accountability and availability, access to the media, whether he's at the South Lawn or speaking in the South Portico, celebrating a historic tax cut recently. He gives a great amount of evidence as to what his view is. And on this, he is telling the Palestinians the way he has told others, whether it's the people who contribute to NATO, the folks in the Paris Accord. In other words, why aren't you pulling your weight? The president is right, and a lot of Americans repeat this in focus groups and other research, Bill. Why are we giving just gazillions of dollars to folks to help them protect their sovereign borders, and we don't protect our own sovereign border, to help them when they show us, as the president says, very little respect? And of course, you know, he's been very consistent about America first and all that means.
I think we can agree it is a whole different approach, and let's see what comes from that.
Well, America voted for that, though. It's an ambition agenda and a different approach.
There are big meetings at the White House today regarding the domestic agenda. Immigration is going to be out there. What do you think gives and what do you think takes if you are able to forge an immigration deal?
This should be a historic year on immigration, and that's really a question for Republicans and Democrats together, because this president won in part on taking a tough stand against illegal immigrants just coming over the border, and actually has talked about all the poison coming over the border in the form of heroin. He said on October 26th here at the White House that 90% of our heroin comes through the southern border. We know that we have a problem in this country. People want to know that our borders are secure. And this president has a 70-point immigration plan. I know people on the left want to boil it down to DACA and DACA alone. He put out a 70-point immigration plan. Folks, go read it. It's there for you to see. He's been very transparent.
You think you can get a deal on that?
Well, the president has made very clear, and he has not wavered, that there is no DACA without funding for the wall. The wall is to be built. He made that promise. It's begun. It's incredibly important for folks to see tangibly that we are getting tougher on border security. But the president has also made very clear, Bill, that his immigration vision includes an end to chain migration, an end to the visa lottery program. It includes more ICE agents, our Immigration and Border Patrol agents at the border, so that the men and women there who bravely do their work every day have more support and more resources. Okay. He's talked about a merit-based immigration system. And so it's a very comprehensive plan that people should really look at and not boil it all down to just DACA. The Democrats are on, they know how he feels about this.
Sorry for the interruption. I'm just almost out of time, and I really want to get to this, okay? A tweet from late yesterday on the dishonest media. I will be announcing the most dishonest and corrupt media awards of the year on Monday at 5 o'clock. Subjects will cover dishonesty and bad reporting in various categories from the fake news media. Stay tuned. Now what is that all about?
I don't know how much more clear the president could be. I think the struggle there will be how in the world to narrow it down to one or two winners in each of those categories. I've seen this firsthand over the last couple of years in being with a candidate and now President Trump. You have a lot of folks out there in the mainstream media who work hard and try to get it right. You have people who are trying to get the story. You have many who are trying to get the president.
This is going to happen in 6 days. Is that right? Is that what I read next Monday?
That's what he says.
Do you get a vote?
Nobody's asked me to vote, but certainly, and the president can make his own decisions in that regard. But Bill, I've seen this many times, that folks are very bold on social media against the president. They're very bold on cable TV against the president, and then when they're in his company, the knees start knocking. I've actually had to pick up people's cell phones that they drop and hand it back to them. It's very fascinating to see people who are very bold against the president and by extension against his agenda that got voted on.
Monday it is.
And yet, we'll see what happens Monday. But I think in the meantime, the New Year's resolution should be, I think, more fair and accurate reporting.
Thank you for your time. We'll see what we get.
Thank you, Bill.
Kellyanne Conway from the North Lawn there. Certainly is novel. Next Monday at 5 o'clock, it's like an apprentice rollout.
I think you covered just about everything there.
I got a little bit.
There's a lot going on.
On we march, right?
First week of 2018.
Boom.
Here we go.